Don't go tell everyone around you that you disagreed with X, Y, and Z person. Go straight to the source. Because here's the deal. If you go talk to everyone about why you disagree with Joe Schmo, well then all of a sudden Joe Schmo is going to hear about it and they're going to think ill of you because you were willing to talk to everyone before you were willing to talk to them. Welcome back to the Leaders Only podcast, where we talk about business, leadership mindset, and just pretty much anything revolved around building an incredible life. You know, one of the reasons that I started this podcast is because I felt like on the way to where we're at now, there wasn't really a place to go to learn tangible skills that are needed in order to succeed and further yourself and just get better overall in every area of your life. And so some background about me, I built a sales company that does over 8 figures a year. I own over $10 million worth of real estate, and I've built a multiple 7-figure income that's streamlined and in all honesty doesn't really need me. I plan on teaching you and documenting everything that I learned along the way. And if you get something out of today's message, if you can do me a favor, if you can like, share, and subscribe, it will give us the ability to further our message and help more people, which is what we're all about. Thank you guys so much. Let's dive in. I'm so excited about today, and the reason is we're going to be covering the 5 uncommon characteristics of what it takes to build a winning culture and a winning team. And the reason I want to go over the 5 uncommon characteristics is because I believe most people are familiar with the common characteristics. Things like unity, loyalty, brotherhood, sisterhood, trust. I think those are all givens. You can't build a successful culture without those things. I think most people are familiar with having a common goal, having a common vision. Because how are you going to build a successful team without a common goal and a common vision that everyone is working towards together? So I think those are givens. I think people can expect those things in any winning culture. What I want to go over is the 5 uncommon characteristics that allows those common things to take place. What pieces the common things together? That's what I want to discuss with you today. And I think that if you genuinely pay attention to what it is that I'm about to go over, it will make all the difference in the culture in which you are trying to create. Because if you want to build a winning Boy Scout or Girl Scout group, it's going to require a successful culture. If you want to build a winning department or a winning company or maybe a winning team because you're a coach, whatever it might be, it's going to require a winning culture. So how do we cultivate a winning culture? How do we piece together all the common characteristics? It's with the uncommon characteristics, and that's what I want to go over with you today. So the first uncommon characteristic of building a winning team and or a winning culture is collaboration. Being willing to take everyone's input, throw it into a melting pot, and then create a mastermind around that melting pot where you can pick and choose based off what's going to be best for the business, what's going to be best for the team, and what's going to help us get to the goal quicker. And I feel like this is something that we've been very, very good at. As much as I would like to be able to say that I have all these amazing ideas and it's just because of me, that's why we've built a successful business, that's just not the truth. It's because everyone's been willing to throw in their ideas, throw in their input, throw in the things that are working for them. It's been a collaboration of a bunch of talent and a bunch of skill that's within our teams, within our business, within our culture. It's everyone chiming in, and that's how we've been able to piece together the success of our culture and the success of our system strategies. One thing that we've been known for in our industry and in our space is our systems and our processes. That's one thing that we've become known for. And it's not because of me. It's not because I'm this smart guy that comes up with all these ideas. It's because we have so many talented and skilled people that are willing to give their input and give their ideas and give their strategies and give their processes that's working for them. And then us taking everyone's input and then piecing together what it is that we operate with now. And so the reason I tell you this is because if you're going just based off your own thinking, that's very, very limited. That means that you are just taking the mind of yourself. You're basing everything off of your knowledge, your experience, your thought processes, your thinking patterns, your personality. And that's a very limited space to be in because that means that whatever you come up with only will work for people who are just like you. What I wanted to do is I wanted to take everyone's input, everyone's ideas, put together a mastermind where we can cultivate the best possible processes for everyone. Well, so now it's not just based off my thinking pattern. It's based off all 10, 15, 20, 30 people who are chiming in and throwing in their input and their ideas. And so I actually learned this from Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich because he always talks about the mastermind. If you want to build a successful business, it takes a whole bunch of minds coming together, collaborating in order to do so. And so if you want to build a successful business, successful culture, successful environment, be willing to collaborate, be willing to be heard, be willing to allow everyone to be heard. Not only will this give you the best ideas that can help scale the business, scale the environment, scale the culture, but it will also do is allow everyone to feel heard, which is very, very important because everyone wants to feel heard. Everyone wants to feel like they have a say. Everyone wants to be a part of what's moving the business forward. And so when you allow people to feel heard, it gives them a sense of belonging as well. So not only is it great from a knowledge standpoint, but it's also great from a unity standpoint and making people feel like they belong. So you have to be willing to allow collaboration to take place in your business when trying to build a successful culture. The second uncommon characteristic when building a successful culture is respectful disagreements. Let me say that again. Respectful disagreements. Matt, are you saying that you want a whole bunch of people disagreeing with you? Absolutely. Matt, are you saying that you want people to disagree with each other? Absolutely. For a couple of reasons. Number one, if people are willing to disagree, that means that they truly have trust and they truly have a relationship. What you see a lot of times in business is you see a whole bunch of people that are biting their tongue and they never truly vocalize themselves. And by them doing this, what ends up happening is they end up building resentment towards whoever they are disagreeing with. And that's not good. That's not good for business. So I want people to disagree with me because this is not a dictatorship. Like I talked about a second ago, this is a collaboration. And if you are not willing to voice yourself and say, listen, man, I like that idea, but I disagree with it. I think there's a better way. I think there's a better route. I think there's a better opportunity here. If you don't have people that are willing to do that, then you don't truly have a collaboration and you don't truly have a good relationship. I'm able to disagree with my brother because we're brothers and we know that we're still going to love each other at the end. I'm able to disagree with my mom and she's able to disagree with me because there's a common level of respect where we love each other, and regardless of our disagreement, we know we're going to love each other after. So if you want to build a strong environment and a strong culture of people that trust and love each other, then they have to be willing to disagree with each other, or else there's just nonstop resentment that's being built, which is not good for unification. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have not had the opportunity to subscribe just yet, if you can go ahead and do that, that would be incredible. We have about 10,000 plus active listeners and not all of you have subscribed just yet. So if you guys can go ahead and do that, that would be incredible. And hopefully you enjoy the rest of the episode. And number two, the second thing that it does is it challenges thinking patterns. And that's a good thing. I want people challenging my thinking pattern, because if it's just based off my thinking pattern, once again, that's a dictatorship. That's not leadership. That's a dictatorship. I want people challenging my thinking pattern because it makes it overall better for everyone. Because what if my thinking pattern will get us to the goal in 20 minutes, but if somebody challenges my thinking pattern, their idea can get us to the goal in 10 minutes. Isn't that better for everyone? Absolutely. So I want people disagreeing with me for those two reasons. And last but not least, regarding these disagreements need to happen in a respectful manner. Meaning that if you disagree with somebody and it's going to be a little bit controversial, don't have that disagreement publicly. Go have that disagreement in private and only have that disagreement with them. Don't go tell everyone around you that you disagreed with X, Y, and Z person. Go straight to the source. Because here's the deal. If you go talk to everyone about why you disagree with Joe Schmo, well, then all of a sudden, Joe Schmo is going to hear about it, and they're going to think ill of you because you were willing to talk to everyone before you were willing to talk to them. And is that true brotherhood, sisterhood, and is that a true strong culture? No, it's not. So if you have a problem with somebody, it's okay to disagree with somebody, and it's okay to have a problem with somebody. But it's not okay to go tell everyone about the problem rather than just going to the person and going to the source in order to fix it. And so people bring me things all the time. They say, listen, Matt, Joe Schmo did this and I don't like it. And I'll say, well, did you talk to Joe Schmo? And they go, no. I said, well, how is it going to look when I go to Joe Schmo and I say that you said this and then I'm trying to patch it? Is that going to make things better or make things worse for the environment? It's going to make things worse. So what's going to happen when you come to me telling me that you disagree with Joe Schmo and then I go to Joe Schmo and let them know that you disagree with them? Is that going to be good for the environment and bad for the environment? Bad for the environment. So what I don't want is that. So every single time somebody comes to me and say, hey, listen, I got a problem with X, Y, and Z person. I'll say, listen, it's okay to disagree with X, Y, and Z person, but go talk to them. Don't talk to me about it. Talk to them about it. Because if you talk to me about it and I go to them, it's going to look like you're talking bad about them behind their back. But if you just go to them with the solution in mind, you guys can patch it and make everything better. Because one thing that I know is that most people do not have ill intentions. Most people are not doing things in a spiteful manner. Most people hurt people's feelings unintentionally. If there ever is a disagreement, give people the benefit of the doubt and go talk to them in person, quietly, behind the scenes, without anyone else knowing about it. That is how adults and grown-ups should handle situations, And unfortunately, it's not the way that most people handle situations. So make sure that if you have a disagreement, you do it in a respectful manner. But disagreements are not bad. They are good for a culture because that means that nobody's biting their tongue and that they have enough respect for one another that they're willing to communicate their problems, communicate what they don't agree with, and communicate the issues that they might have. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. The third uncommon characteristic of a winning culture is a leader who does not spread people's personal information. I know what you might be thinking. That should be common, right? I think it should be common, but unfortunately it's not. One thing that I see blow up cultures and teams and environments more than anything is a leader who cannot keep their lips sealed and a leader who tells everyone else's personal information. And that's never the intention, but it's just what happens. All of a sudden, someone brings them something and they feel like they have a person or two that they can trust. And then those people feel like they have a person or two that they can trust. And then those people have a person or two that they feel they can trust. And then all of a sudden, someone's personal information is out there and the entire environment blows up. And so one thing that I feel like I've done very, very well in my career is that when people bring me things, nobody ever hears about it. I know people's marriage issues. I know people's personal issues. I know people's addictions. I know the personal things that people are dealing with mentally, spiritually, personally, and nobody else knows about it because it's my job as a leader to help these people through it. It's not my job as a leader to tell everyone the baggage going on behind the scenes. And one thing that I see more than anything is people blow up environments and tell people's personal information, and that ruins the trust of an organization, it ruins the credibility of the leader, and it ruins the environment. There has to be a foundation of trust, and if personal information continues to get leaked, then no environment will ever be trustworthy enough to have a strong and winning culture. The fourth uncommon characteristic of building a winning culture is having a common enemy. Not just a common goal, not just a common vision, not just a common outcome, but a common enemy. Because common enemies pull the absolute best out of teams for a couple of reasons. Number one, it unifies the team because the only way for the team to be strong enough in order to beat and conquer the enemy is if they all come together as one and work in unison. But number two, it pulls the best out of the individuals that are on that team because it makes it so it's no longer just about them. It's about the team. It's about them coming together. It's about the teammate that's standing next to them that's also trying to win. It becomes more than them. And when you have an environment of people who are fighting for something that's bigger than them, that are fighting for a bigger purpose, that are fighting for a bigger goal, a bigger outcome, a bigger vision, when they're fighting against other people who are trying to steal from them, take from them, go against them, it causes people to rally and it pulls the absolute best out of them. So if you want to build a winning culture, a winning environment, you can't just have a common goal. There has to be a common enemy because it's the enemy that unifies everyone, and it's the enemy that gets people's blood boiling. It's the enemy that gets people competitive, and it's the enemy that makes people go harder, fight harder, and give their absolute best because once again, it's no longer just about them. It's about the team and the team winning. The fifth uncommon characteristic of building a winning culture is strong leadership within. And what do I mean by this? I have a financial agency of about 2,000 licensed professionals in it. And even if I wanted to, there is no way for me to possibly lead 2,000 people at once. So what we have is we have strong leadership within. We have overlapping leadership, and we have layers of leadership that help guide all 2,000 people. And by the way, that 2,000 people will be 10,000 by the end of this year. And so the only way for us to scale and grow that fast is to have layers of leadership, overlapping leadership, and strong leadership within. Leaders who are all on the same page, leaders who are all operating in unison, leaders who have each other's back, and leaders that go above and beyond for their people. Because leadership is not about being in charge. Leadership is about being in the charge. And so if I want to lead 100 people, I need to lead 10 that lead 10 because I can't lead 100 people on my own. So as long as the 10 people who are leading the 10 people are unified, on the same page, properly equipped, then you are going to build a culture and environment that you can't stop even if you want to. And so the fifth and final uncommon characteristic of building a successful culture is strong leadership. And if you can build that, you're going to build an unstoppable team, an unstoppable business, an unstoppable culture, and a culture that not only makes a change in the lives of other people, but a culture that has a ripple effect on the lives of people and generations to come, which is what it's all about. And so if you could do me a favor, guys, if you got something out of today's message, if you can like, share, and subscribe, that would mean the absolute world to us. Obviously, we put out all this information for free because we're just trying to help as many people as we possibly can. So once again, if you got something out of today, if you can tell somebody about it, that would mean the world to us. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next week.
Let's get it.